Hello Golden State Warriors fans, we are here once again to bring you the latest news related to our team, and I would like to emphasize how committed we are to improving our performance to achieve great results. Before we dive into this intriguing news, I kindly request you to show your support by clicking the like button, and if you are not yet subscribed to our channel, I invite you all to join us on an exciting journey. Remember to turn on notifications so you don't miss anything.
3 takeaways from the Warriors' win over the Pelicans. Moody ties Klay Thompson as Stephen Curry scores just 9 points. The Golden State Warriors continued their strong run with a convincing win over the New Orleans Pelicans, and Moody was the driving force behind it. Golden State extended its winning streak to 3 games, building on the momentum from Stephen Curry's historic night against the Spurs. Many expected Curry to stay hot against one of the weakest teams in the NBA, but his streak lasted only 2 games. Struggling to find his rhythm, he finished with just 9 points on 2-for-11 shooting. Fortunately for the Warriors, Moody stepped up at exactly the right moment. After recently earning back a spot in the starting lineup, he delivered the best performance of his young career. Moody ties Klay Thompson's 3-point record and drops 32 points. Moody was electric. He led the Warriors with 32 points, shooting an impressive 10-for-16 from the field. What made his night even more remarkable was that he tied a franchise milestone. Moody came out firing in the first quarter, knocking down 7 3-pointers. With that, he joined Stephen Curry and Klay Thompson as the only Warriors ever to make 7 triples in a single quarter. He finished the game with 8 of 12 from deep, showing just how dangerous he can be when he's playing with confidence. Warriors turn in one of their best 3-point shooting nights of the season. Golden State hit 24 3-pointers against the Pelicans, shooting 43% from long range, their highest mark of the season so far. 3-point shooting has been one of the Warriors' biggest weaknesses this year, with no one besides Curry consistently hitting shots from beyond the arc. But against New Orleans, the script flipped. Curry managed just 1 3-pointer, and the rest of the team carried the load from deep, giving Golden State the offensive balance they've been missing. The Pelicans couldn't buy a 3-pointer, even with a new coach. Many fans hoped that firing head coach Willie Green would spark a turnaround for New Orleans. Instead, the same issues resurfaced. The Pelicans struggled mightily from beyond the arc, hitting only 8 of 29 attempts, a disappointing 28%. Their overall shooting wasn't much better, finishing the game at 45% from the field. Credit goes to the Warriors' defense, which consistently pressured shooters and disrupted the rhythm of the Pelicans' offense. With the win secured, the Warriors now head to Orlando to take on the Magic, hoping to stretch their winning streak to 4 games and continue building momentum at a critical point in the season. In the aftermath of the win, the Warriors' locker room reflected a mix of relief and renewed confidence. Players and coaches acknowledged that, while Moody's breakout night stole the spotlight, the victory also highlighted several trends the team hopes to build on. For a squad that has struggled with consistency, seeing contributions from across the roster was an encouraging sign. Coaches were particularly pleased with the balance in the offense. With Curry off his game, the Warriors were forced to lean on secondary scorers, something they haven't always done successfully this season. Moody's efficiency, along with timely shooting from the bench, demonstrated that Golden State has options when their superstar isn't clicking. Team officials have emphasized all year that depth could be a strength, and this performance served as a reminder of that potential. Defensively, the Warriors also took pride in their discipline. The coaching staff noted that several of the Pelicans' missed 3-point attempts came from well-executed closeouts and defensive rotations. While New Orleans struggled on its own, Golden State's pressure played a significant role in disrupting their offensive rhythm. The team has placed a renewed focus on defense in recent practices, especially after the loss to Oklahoma City exposed several weaknesses. Around the league, analysts highlighted Moody's performance as one of the most promising signs for the Warriors' long-term outlook. As the organization continues to develop its younger core, nights like this raise important questions about rotations and future roles. Moody's ability to space the floor, rebound, and defend has been praised internally, but a performance that historically inevitably forces bigger conversations. Some commentators also noted that Curry's off night could be viewed as a subtle blessing. His ability to carry the offense is unquestioned, but the Warriors have often relied too heavily on him to save them from stagnant stretches. Seeing the team thrive without a dominant Curry performance may give Kerr more flexibility in managing his star's workload as the season progresses. Meanwhile, the Pelicans find themselves at another crossroads. The coaching change may have reset the tone temporarily, but the problems exposed in this loss, Poor shooting, inconsistent defensive effort, and a lack of identity in late-game situations continue to follow them. Their inability to compete from deep was particularly alarming given how crucial three-point efficiency has become in today's NBA. As Golden State prepares for its matchup against the Magic, the stakes grow even higher. Orlando's physical style and defensive discipline present a markedly different challenge. Another win would not only extend the Warriors' streak, but also signal that they are starting to find stability after an up-and-down start to the season. For now, the focus remains on sustaining the improvements shown against New Orleans: sharper ball movement, confident shooting from multiple contributors, and a defense capable of dictating the game's pace. If the Warriors can replicate these elements consistently, the win over the Pelicans may be remembered as more than just another victory. It could be the moment the team began to rediscover the identity that made them contenders for nearly a decade. As preparation for the Orlando matchup intensified, the Warriors' coaching staff emphasized the importance of carrying over the discipline they showed against the Pelicans. In team meetings, Kerr highlighted the stretches where Golden State controlled the tempo through smart decision-making and precise spacing, areas that have been inconsistent throughout the early part of the season. Players acknowledged that the road ahead will demand more than one strong performance. The Western Conference standings remain tightly packed, and even minor lapses can shift momentum quickly. Veterans stressed that the team cannot afford to rely solely on offensive outbursts or late-game heroics to secure wins. Instead, they need to build habits that can withstand tougher tests, especially on long road trips. Moses Moody, still processing his record-tying performance, was quick to downplay individual praise. Teammates noted that his approach remained steady in practice, focusing on defensive footwork, off-ball movement, and film study. The coaching staff appreciated his composure, seeing it as a sign that Moody's development is moving in the right direction. His emergence also adds a new layer of competition within the rotation, pushing other young players to elevate their play. Behind the scenes, the Warriors' analytics group has been encouraged by recent trends. Lineups featuring Moody, Kuminga, and Chris Paul have shown improved spacing and ball security, two areas that plagued the team earlier in the season. These numbers support the possibility of more experimental rotations moving forward, especially as Kerr looks to balance development with the urgency of winning games. Meanwhile, the Pelicans face larger concerns. Team officials are reportedly evaluating whether additional adjustments are needed to stabilize the roster after the coaching change failed to produce an immediate turnaround. Their loss to the Warriors exposed deeper issues related to spacing, defensive cohesion, and late clock execution. Those problems, if unaddressed, could shape the remainder of their season. For Golden State, the upcoming stretch against Orlando, Miami, and Milwaukee will offer a clearer picture of where they truly stand. Each opponent presents a different challenge, from size and physicality to elite perimeter defense, and the Warriors know that consistency will be the deciding factor. A successful run could validate the progress made over the past week, while setbacks may force further adjustments. What remains undeniable is that the team's confidence has shifted. The win over New Orleans didn't just extend a streak, it showed that the Warriors are capable of competing at a high level even when their superstar has an off night. That kind of victory resonates inside a locker room, especially one working to rebuild trust, identity, and rhythm. If Golden State can continue blending veteran leadership with emerging young talent, the performance against the Pelicans may prove to be more than a highlight. It may be the first step toward establishing a steadier, more resilient version of the Warriors as the season unfolds. Why did Steve Kerr yell at Buddy Hield and the Warriors even with a 22-point lead over the Pelicans? Even after a dominant win over the New Orleans Pelicans, Steve Kerr lit into the Golden State Warriors during the fourth quarter, and he didn't hold back. Golden State pushed its winning streak to 3 games, improving to 9-6 on the season. Moses Moody stole the spotlight with a breakout 32-point performance, knocking down 8 of his 12 shots from deep. While Stephen Curry had erupted for 49 points against the Spurs just days earlier, he struggled this time, finishing with only 9 points. By the time the fourth quarter rolled around, the Warriors had the game all but wrapped up. Yet Kerr erupted on the sidelines, furious with Buddy Hield and the rest of the team for a series of sloppy mistakes late in the game. So what set him off? With just over 3 minutes remaining and the Warriors up by 22, a careless error by Buddy Hield, a mishandled inbound pass intended for Pat Spencer, gifted the Pelicans an easy bucket. Kerr instantly snapped, ripping into Hield and demanding sharper focus from the entire group. After the game, Kerr made it clear, these lapses are unacceptable, even in blowout wins. We can't be careless. We're inbounding the ball, there's no excuse to lose that possession. We had another night just like this, and it nearly cost us the game in San Antonio. He didn't stop there. It's a team-wide problem. 21 turnovers. If we want to compete at the highest level, we have to clean this up. Despite the frustration, there's no denying the momentum Golden State is building. The 3-game win streak suggests the Warriors may finally be clicking. Their earlier loss to the Thunder exposed their weaknesses, but in hindsight, it may have been exactly the wake-up call they needed. Draymond Green didn't mince words after that defeat, publicly challenging his teammates, and that fire seems to have fueled their turnaround. So the big question is, how far can this Warriors team go now that they've rediscovered their rhythm? On their best nights, they look unstoppable. For Kerr, the mission is simple: make those nights happen more often. In the days following the win, Kerr's outburst became a talking point around the team. Several players privately acknowledged that, even with a margin of victory, the coaching staff had every reason to be concerned. Golden State has struggled all season with stretches of inconsistency, dominant one quarter, careless the next, and those habits have repeatedly allowed opponents back into games. Analysts also pointed out that, while the Warriors' offense has shown flashes of its old creativity, the team's turnover issues remain one of their biggest obstacles. The mistakes against the Pelicans weren't isolated. They were part of a pattern that has surfaced in multiple close contests this year. For a team with championship aspirations, it's a pattern Kerr knows cannot continue. Inside the locker room, the message was received. Veterans emphasize that winning comfortably doesn't excuse losing focus, especially for a roster still trying to establish its identity this season. Younger players like Moody, despite his standout performance, admitted that there is still a learning curve when it comes to maintaining discipline throughout a full 48 minutes. There was also a sense that Kerr's criticism wasn't directed solely at Buddy Hield's turnover, but at the broader mentality the team occasionally slips into when holding a large lead. Golden State's style of play thrives on pace, ball movement, and quick decisions, but when that mindset becomes reckless, even small errors can become momentum-shifting moments. League observers noted that this kind of confrontation, while intense, is not unusual for Kerr. Historically, he has used moments like this to sharpen his team's competitive edge, especially when he believes they are capable of more. And with the Western Conference as tight as it is, Golden State can't afford to give away possessions or allow complacency to seep in. As the schedule toughens in the coming weeks, the Warriors will face opponents who can punish the kind of lapses they showed against New Orleans. Kerr's message was clear: the details matter now more than ever. If Golden State wants to turn this winning streak into something sustainable, they'll need to match their talent with discipline, possession after possession. Whether this moment becomes a turning point or a forgotten warning will depend entirely on how the Warriors respond the next time pressure hits, and whether they can finally turn brief flashes of excellence into consistent, full-game performances. The next stretch of games will reveal whether Kerr's message truly resonated. Internally, the staff has emphasized that the Warriors' margin for error is much slimmer than in previous seasons. The roster is deeper, but also more dependent on players who are still adjusting to the pace and physicality required to compete nightly in the Western Conference. For that reason, Kerr's insistence on precision is not simply about perfectionism, it's about survival. Several coaches around the league have echoed the sentiment that Golden State's system demands high focus. When executed correctly, it creates open shots and constant pressure. When executed poorly, it quickly unravels. The turnover against the Pelicans served as a reminder of how quickly things can swing, even in a seemingly safe situation. Within the organization, there is also growing confidence that these corrections are achievable. Team practices following the Pelicans game placed unusual emphasis on situational drills, inbounding under pressure, late-game possessions, and transition defense after mistakes. Players reported that Kerr and his assistants were far more vocal than usual, reinforcing the seriousness of their approach. Some players, particularly the veterans, welcomed the intensity. They understand that the Warriors' path back to contender status will not be built on talent alone. The younger members of the roster, while at times shaken by Kerr's stern tone, have embraced the challenge as an opportunity to prove they can be trusted in critical moments. The Warriors' upcoming opponents will offer immediate tests. Facing teams known for defensive pressure and disciplined execution, Golden State will have to show that the late-game lapse against the Pelicans was an exception, not a trend. If the Warriors respond with focus and control, the moment could become a minor footnote in a successful season. If the problems persist, however, Kerr's concerns may prove to be early warnings of deeper issues. For now, the team remains optimistic. The 3-game winning streak, combined with the emergence of unexpected contributors like Moody, suggests that the Warriors have the pieces needed to compete. What remains uncertain is whether they can consistently combine these individual performances with the collective discipline that Kerr demands. Ultimately, the Warriors will be judged not by how they play with a 22-point lead, but by how they handle pressure when every possession matters. And Kerr's reaction against the Pelicans made one thing unmistakably clear: for Golden State to reach its potential, there can be no moments of complacency, not even in the final minutes of a blowout win. Draymond Green calls out Warriors players for personal agendas, and Jimmy Butler agrees. Draymond Green didn't hold back when addressing what he believes is going wrong with the Golden State Warriors' championship pursuit, and interestingly, Jimmy Butler completely agreed. The Warriors have fallen short of the lofty expectations many had for them entering this NBA season. After a strong 5-1 start, Golden State has stumbled to an even 6-6 record, losing the spark that once made them title favorites. Their recent loss to the Oklahoma City Thunder was especially concerning, a game that exposed just how far this team has drifted from championship form. It's an unsettling pattern that echoes last season, when the Warriors also started strong before fading mid-year. Ironically, things only began to turn around once Jimmy Butler joined the team, bringing energy, accountability, and a renewed focus on winning. Now, both Butler and Green are sounding the alarm again. Speaking to the media after the brutal loss to OKC, Draymond Green was as candid as ever. He said the team's mentality has changed since Butler's arrival last season, and not in a good way. "I think everyone was committed to winning after the Butler trade last year, willing to do whatever it took," Green said. Right now, that doesn't seem to be the case. Green didn't stop there. "Everyone in this league has a personal agenda, and that's fine. But you have to make your agenda fit within the team's goals. If it doesn't, then eventually that agenda will be the reason someone gets moved. You've got to decide what matters more, your stats or winning." When asked about Green's comments, Jimmy Butler didn't shy away, he doubled down. "I think he's right, at least to some extent," Butler admitted in the locker room. "We need to get back to doing whatever it takes to win. Everyone's going to have to sacrifice something. I can't say what that looks like for each guy, but it has to happen. Winning is the only thing that matters right now." The message from the veterans is loud and clear. The younger players need to rise to the occasion, show hunger, and commit to the team's bigger picture. Even head coach Steve Kerr has recently voiced frustration with the younger core's lack of grit and focus. With the team hovering around .500, the time for reflection might be over. It may be time for a hard conversation inside the Warriors' locker room about what it truly takes to win again. The growing tension within the Warriors' locker room has become impossible to ignore. Sources close to the team suggest that the frustration isn't just limited to Green and Butler. Several veterans have quietly questioned the focus and consistency of some of the younger players, who were expected to take on larger roles this season. The internal divide seems to stem from conflicting priorities. While veterans like Green, Butler, and Stephen Curry are focused on maximizing the team's championship window, some of the younger core appear more concerned with individual performance and future contracts. That imbalance has reportedly caused rifts in team chemistry, a recurring issue that's plagued Golden State since their dynasty years began to fade. According to multiple reports, team meetings in recent weeks have become increasingly intense, with several players speaking up about accountability and effort. One source described the atmosphere as tense but necessary, suggesting that the group is confronting hard truths rather than ignoring them. On the court, the results reflect that internal friction. Golden State's ball movement, once their defining trademark, has slowed noticeably. Their assist numbers have dipped compared to past seasons, and defensive rotations have lacked the cohesion that once made them elite. The Warriors currently rank near the middle of the league in defensive efficiency, a sharp contrast to the top 5 defense that helped them win titles. Jimmy Butler's presence, which was initially viewed as a stabilizing force, now carries even more weight. Known across the league for his no-nonsense leadership style, Butler has made it clear that winning takes priority over personal accolades. His alignment with Green's criticism sends a strong message to the rest of the roster: there's no room for complacency. Head coach Steve Kerr, meanwhile, faces the difficult task of restoring unity. He's publicly acknowledged the team's struggles, but stopped short of directly calling out individuals. Instead, Kerr emphasized the need for collective responsibility and trust in the system, noting that championship teams are built on selflessness and effort, not ego. Front office executives are said to be monitoring the situation closely. With the trade deadline still months away, there's speculation that the organization could make roster adjustments if internal issues persist. Several analysts have pointed out that the Warriors' championship window is closing fast, and this season may represent their last real chance to contend with their current core. For now, the message from inside the locker room is consistent: rediscover the hunger, or risk watching the season slip away. The Warriors have been through adversity before: injuries, roster changes, public criticism, but what they face now is different. This isn't about talent or experience, it's about identity. Whether they can regain the unity and purpose that once defined them could determine not just the outcome of the season, but the future of the franchise itself. What Stephen Curry is doing is insane, and one factor doesn't even matter anymore, says former Warriors player. Stephen Curry has been a man on a mission for the Golden State Warriors, and one former team standout believes he's operating on a level far above everyone else. Fresh off a thrilling win over the San Antonio Spurs, a game many are calling the best of the NBA season so far, Curry delivered one of the most remarkable performances of his career. He erupted for 49 points, dismantling the Spurs defense and leading the Warriors to their first-ever NBA Cup title. In doing so, he joined Michael Jordan and LeBron James as the only players to score 40-plus points in back-to-back games after turning 37. What Curry is producing this season is extraordinary, especially considering that the rest of the Warriors roster hasn't consistently matched his level of excellence. And according to former Warrior Festus Ezeli, Curry isn't just defying expectations, he's rewriting what's possible for a player his age. Festus Ezeli says fatigue doesn't even matter when Curry plays like this. Speaking to NBC Sports Bay Area, Ezeli praised Curry's performance against the Spurs, saying he's never seen anything quite like the four-time champion's ability to dominate at this stage of his career. He emphasized that despite concerns about Curry's age and workload, the superstar continues to move with the same explosiveness and sharpness he showed years ago. You've seen superstars before, but what Steph is doing right now, even at 37, age is just a number. At this point, it doesn't even matter anymore. Ezeli added that Curry's impact goes far beyond his scoring. What he does late in games, what he does in the middle of games, how he energizes the crowd, how defenses react to him, it's insane. He described one moment near the end of the Spurs game when Curry pulled up from nearly half-court without hesitation. Normally, at this age, you expect fatigue. You expect legs to get heavier, and the shot to lose accuracy. But Steph just keeps getting better. The rest of the Warriors need to rise to the moment and support Curry. Curry's performance against San Antonio was spectacular, but it also highlighted a troubling trend for Golden State. While Curry continues to play at an MVP caliber level, the rest of the roster hasn't consistently matched his production or intensity. If the Warriors want to remain in the title conversation, the supporting cast must elevate their play. Relying on Curry to carry the team every night is not sustainable, especially in a tightly contested Western Conference. There has been speculation that the Warriors front office could pursue a major trade to bolster the roster. Rumors have circulated about a potential move for Anthony Davis, which would give Curry the star-caliber frontcourt partner he's never had. But for now, Steve Kerr has to maximize the players already on the roster. The Warriors need to find more scoring, more discipline, and more consistency around Curry if they want to stay competitive in the months ahead. Curry continues to do his part, performing at a level few players in league history have ever reached. Whether Golden State can meet him halfway will determine just how far this team can go. And the pressure is only growing. Around the league, analysts are beginning to question whether Golden State is wasting one of the greatest late-career seasons the NBA has ever seen. As Curry continues to deliver historic numbers, rival executives and former players have noted that the Warriors can no longer rely solely on legacy, chemistry, or coaching experience to stay afloat. The margin for error has become razor-thin. Several scouts who watched the Spurs matchup in person left the arena stunned, not just at Curry's fireworks, but at how much the Warriors needed every single one of them. He's keeping that team in games they shouldn't even be in, one Western Conference scout said after the win. If he has one off night, they're in trouble. That's the reality. Internal frustrations have also surfaced. According to team insiders, members of the coaching staff have privately expressed concern about the lack of cohesion in second-unit lineups. Defensive lapses, inconsistent shooting, and turnover issues have repeatedly put the Warriors in early deficits, forcing Curry to log heavier minutes than expected. Steve Kerr addressed this after the Spurs game, acknowledging that the team must do a better job alleviating Curry's burden. While he praised the win and Curry's brilliance, he didn't hide his dissatisfaction with the team's execution. "We can't keep putting ourselves in these positions," Kerr said. "Steph is playing at an unreal level, but we need everyone locked in. That's the only way we'll survive long-term." Draymond Green echoed that sentiment in the locker room, saying the team must take pride in the small things and clean up the foundational mistakes that have cost them close games earlier in the season. Meanwhile, Curry's surge has sparked broader conversations across the NBA about aging, longevity, and how modern training methods are redefining expectations for veteran stars. Some analysts have drawn parallels to Tom Brady's late career dominance in the NFL, arguing that Curry may be building a blueprint for how elite perimeter players can extend their primes through skill refinement rather than pure athleticism. Still, the underlying question persists: how long can Curry sustain this? For now, there are no signs of slowing down. His conditioning remains elite, his shooting mechanics are as fluid as ever, and his leadership has only grown stronger. But even Curry himself has hinted that he can't carry this load indefinitely. As the Warriors prepare for a crucial stretch of Western Conference matchups, the urgency has never been clearer. Golden State has a generational superstar delivering nightly magic, but the window to capitalize on it is narrowing. If the front office, coaching staff, and roster cannot meet the moment, the Warriors risk watching one of the greatest individual seasons of Curry's career go unsupported. And the consequences of that, both short-term and long-term, could reshape the franchise's future.